Okay, for this Sweet Eats Tuesday, 23 July 2024, I, Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, have a Reese's Caramel Big Cup. I've done a Reese's Big Cup before, so this is a big cup with caramel. And it looks like in the visual that the caramel is at the bottom of the cup. And so here we go. And I'm not quite going to do a fine dining. I'm going to do a dining at home. So I don't have a plate and I'm not wearing my fancy clothes, but I do have a steak knife and a pickle fork. And so I'm just gonna cut it and then eat it that way. Yeah. And so I'm eating this in honor of Jacob Ingebrigtsen, who wants to be the greatest runner of all time. Which, what is it? There's a Jacob 1.0, a Jacob 2.0, a Jacob 3.0, and then a Jacob 4.0 that's always rotating. Is how kind of that namespace turned out to be. And what are Jacob 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 mine? I guess some namespaces just go like that. And so I think for me, size is the size of a runner does not necessarily factor in. Like, they don't have to have a certain physique for them to enter my realm of candidates for greatest runner of all time. So there we go. And so I'll cut it about in half so you can see the inside. Ooh, it's kind of soft. And so I was like, it's a beefed up Reese's peanut butter cup. All right, it's a big cup. So I was like, can I think of a positive usage of steroids? Yes, that's quite easy. Ooh, look at that. So steroids are actually pretty commonly used in the medical industry, especially after serious surgeries. And so my grandma got was it a bovine valve replacement? Does that mean she's part cat, longhorn cattle? I don't, okay. I remember, I don't know, was it bovine? Okay. Anyway, so she had, I think she was in her 70s when she had it done, but 80s, 90s, 100s. And I think she was on steroids as part of the healing, because to make the muscles strong and help with the chances that the replacement valve, so it was an animal valve, it wasn't an organ donor, for her heart. And so to make sure the muscles are strong, I think she had steroids prescribed, right, and used so that the new valve would be accepted by her body. So anybody who blanketly states performance enhancing drugs are bad, well, I would consider that the fingerprint of extreme privilege. To say that people deserve, that's synonymous with being homicidal. I want people to die instead of having their muscles strong when undergoing heart surgery. What a cruel human being to say something like that. It's like, you know, people put up videos on that on YouTube and get thousands of views instead of millions of views, and it's like, no shit, Sherlock. You're somebody who has zero understanding of real problems, much less what it means to be a real person with real problems. So steroid use is actually pretty common when recovering from an ailment. There was somebody out, I was on my run one day, and there was somebody out talking to somebody on an earbud or something. And she was talking about how she used steroids loud and proud, and I was like, yeah, you got in control of your health and you recovered, lady. You did good. Might be hated by the privileged world of sports or the world of privileged people in sports, but for us real people, you're gleefully accepted. So if you're watching this, lady, I accept you. Sometimes athletes and sometimes people in general can be don't really know how to connect to real people. I don't really make an effort at understanding real issues that might not even be issues. Right. They take something that was a non-issue and try and make everybody miserable. This is very caramelly. And caramel is a bit like a... reminds me of like caramel I've had on caramel covered apples. Anyway, that's part of why I do not, when I put out a Hot Topic podcast in the past where I said my stance on doping is just let them do it. Yeah. Some petty swimmer ahead of state championships spikes all the cheese at a pizza joint just so that, you know, some drug test comes back negative. You know who suffers the most in that setting? The people who don't even compete in the state championships. The vast majority of the people who ate that spiked cheese. Alright, it's not right. With the normal world has to pay for the fault of sports people. At some point in time, you gotta accept there's a whole lot more people in this world impacted by real problems than spoiled brat, fingerprinted, extreme privileged sports people. Okay, we'll go. Would it have been better if I did not eat it with a steak knife and pickle fork? Possibly. We'll give it a 24 out of 10. So there we go. Happy sweet eats of Reese's Big Cup Caramel. Caramel Big Cup.